Welcome back to Sticks and Strings. I'm Naomi.
I'm Beth.
I'm Eve.
And it is May. Happy May. I hope you're...
We've had May the 4th.
I hope May the 4th was
Cinco
okay.
de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo. And now it's 6 de Mayo. Not that that's anything significant.
Mother's Day coming up the 4th.
Mother's Day is next weekend. Next summer.
The 14th.
Next
every summer.
Sunday.
Every year.
Spring. Next Sunday.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, Eve's going first?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, my first WIP-GO call for May, Winterful Friends by Silver Creek Samplers. I'm like, I was going to call it Stone Creek Samplers. I'm like, that's not right.
One of those creeks.
Stone Creek, isn't that one of those brands that it's like a decor brand or something? Stone Creek.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know.
Anyway, it's 10 days on this, and I did get the scarf completely finished. The hat was done, and I got the scarf finished, and I put in the buttons and the eyes.
Cute.
I'm kind of sad about the white not showing up very well. So I took it all out, and I tried bamboo, which is off-white, right? And I put in, some of it, and I was like, I do not want a yellow Santa. That looks like a yellow, like snowman. It looks like a yellow snowman. And it does show up somewhat. Yeah. But I was like, maybe I need something that shows up better.
It'll show up more on the yellow as you go down.
Yeah.
Yeah, in different areas of this color.
Yeah.
Because it's not all one color, this fabric.
I think it's really pretty, and up close, I think you'll be happy that you used white instead.
Yeah. That stitch looks awful. Okay. So that's what I'm working on. Or pretending to work on, I don't know what you would say. And I decided not to work on the snowman berry to try to do more work on this one and get it done. Now, I haven't gotten it done, but now I have 3 sheep. and part of 2 words here. I just finished the thread is all I did, and then I'll get another thread and keep at it. But they each have their little hats on. Their little
Let me see.
And this is Winterberry's.
Those are so
Erica
cute.
Michaels.
That's beautiful. That's like one of my favorite. Do you have any lotion? Did I see you with lotion?
Yes, I did.
Thank you. My hands are off.
So
I know.
it still has quite a bit to go because the words are one thing that'll be done, but there were a lot of swirlies. There's that I haven't finished is, let's see, I have half of one, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 snowflakes. Half a swirly and 10 snowflakes. That's a lot. But I will persevere.
It's pretty though.
I like it.
It's really pretty.
And I like it. So I was also doing some work on plant pots. This is
sorry, last week I put the wrong picture.
Yeah, it
I
was.
put the wrong progress picture.
It was from the week before. I thought I had deleted it, so I might have deleted the wrong one. I don't know.
I was probably half asleep going, is that the right picture?
This is from Darling and Whimsy Designs, and it was for the Meow the Merrier.
That's very cute.
And I started on the middle kitty. And as you recall, last week I forgot to leave holes for the eyes. And it was all
I had a nightmare about that once.
It was all just a sea of white, and it was boring, so I decided to put the eyes on. But I needed to do another row or 2 to put the mouth and the nose. So that's not on there yet. Although I have the thread for it here. I didn't want to.
Oh.
I didn't want to cut it because it's a very short area. So that's what I've done. Not a whole lot. I haven't been stitching for. I haven't done a lot of stitching this week. Oh goodness. Okay, and the last project I did any work on was the Temperature SAL, Sapphire Mountain Handcrafts, and it has been pretty even temperature. Now, at the end of last month, we got 200 days, but now it's cooler again. I don't know really because I haven't gone outside.
She can go outside if she doesn't have to.
Well,
I know, I'm just joking.
if I don't have to go out in the heat, why should I? And for those of you who have not heard, I'm allergic to outside, so I don't go out there unless I have to. Anyway, I was watching Floss Tube by Helen D, and she was looking at, she was showing FFOs that she had done, and one was done by her sister. And she said it was out of the Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher, and she said which one, and I was just like, okay, I like that one. I love this pattern. It is so cute. And
I thought about doing that one. I had thought about it, but I never got around to it.
And her sister did this on a beautiful blue, kind of like a robin's egg blue. It was so pretty. And I was like, I really like that kitty. So I'm thinking about doing it. Except I have enough Halloween projects. I have enough projects as is. Just,
You can never have enough projects.
As you will be showing us.
Yes.
Yeah.
And me too. I'm a little crazy over here with my project.
What is mania,
Oh, I have no idea.
I don't do mania. I don't do mania because
My whole life is mania most of the time.
So, was there anything else? I don't think so. That's it.
That's it for you?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll go next. So crazy. I'm crazy. Okay. So the pull for this month, one of my pulls was a new start, which I'll talk about in a second, and then the artist cowl. And I think I told you I didn't have it with me last time, but it's a small circumference knitting project. It's you knit it in the round, and then you join the ends to itself, and then it becomes a long cowl. So you can do all the color work. And this right now is 3 different colors, 2 colors of purple and white that I'm working on right now. I'll try to get a close up. And it has 1,000 stitch markers because I have the pattern repeat marked. And I haven't worked on this in ages. But I don't know if you remember, there's one episode with me wearing what looks like a yarn wig. Because it was all of these colors on a key ring. It's all these colors. So each section of the cowl, I'll put a photo here of the pattern. Each section of the cowl is inspired by a different artist. And this is the Georgia O'Keeffe colorway. So I guess she took the colors from Georgia O'Keeffe's, like her work, her painting. She's a Southwest artist. So this is the color palette. And I got a pin. I forgot about this pin.
It's my favorite.
Yeah, me too. I love it.
One of my favorite artists.
Yeah. She does a lot of beautiful, she did a lot of beautiful florals. And so...
gigantic
huge.
flowers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway,
and she did some landscapes and stuff.
Yeah. So she... so this is the colorway for her. And then... I'm doing it pretty much the way it's suggested in the pattern, but she encourages you to choose your own colors and that kind of thing. But I'm doing it, so these are the one it starts with. So it'll be it's essentially a scarf, but it's long enough. It'll be long enough to like wrap twice around your neck, kind of thing, and it'll just be about this wide. Excuse me. So that's the artist cowl that I'm supposed to be working on for my WIP-GO. Whether I will actually, excuse me, I don't know, because I have so many other things. Okay. So last week, right, was local yarn shop day, and I went right after we recorded, and I was like, I really want to buy this yarn to make a sweater for Hannah, because what else do I do? That's what I do. No, it's not all I do, but I'm always inspired. Oh, this is what happened. She wore a sweater, and I'll put a picture of it here, that I made her in 2019. And it was one of the first successful, probably the second successful actual sweater that I made. The first one, I thought it was reversed. I thought that I made this one first and the blue one second. Maybe that is true what happened. Yeah, I can't remember. But I made this one in browns, and it was like my first sweater. And it was made in 2 panels. You make the front and the back separate. You sew them together on the sides and the shoulders. And she loved it, and I love the yarn. It's Baracco Medina. It's like a cotton bamboo. You okay, Eve?
I'm looking at the pattern.
Oh, I thought you were hiding your face. I'm like,
No,
I thought you were about to sneeze or
I
something.
thought you were. I didn't know what was happening.
I just want to make sure I'm going to do it
No,
right.
it's totally fine, but you had your hand over
You
your
know
face,
how
like-
much I pulled out last week.
I just wanted to check on you. Okay. Anyway, so I love the drape of the yarn, and I love that sweater. She loves that sweater and wears it a lot. And she wore it recently when she performed a Mozart sonata with piano. And I was watching it on live stream, and I could see the sweater itself like moving, and I'm like, I love that yarn. I should make her another one just like that, because she says she wears it all the time. It's like just like a regular shirt that she wears, whatever, or to perform in or whatever. She loves it. She's always loved it. So Eli and I went to the yarn shop, and I found this color that I really liked, and then I kind of balked at the price. I was like, well, I don't have official approval from the committee, and so I was like, well, I'll just buy a little, because I had told Mark, I'm gonna just get one thing. It'll be like, maybe $20, and I'll just, because I was like, I'm very satisfied with my yarn right now. I don't need more projects. Excuse me, I keep coughing. And then I saw that yarn, and I was like, I want to make her another one like that. So I bought this for myself. Can't stop coughing. I'm so sorry. It's just a sock yarn. And I thought once I'm done with my bust socks, maybe I'll make socks out of this. It looks kind of like jeans. Oh, they're real cute. It's a local, it's called Less Traveled Yarn Creosote Collection. And it's the colorway Sonolta. That's what it says. I don't know what that means. But it's a local dyer, I should say. It's not local yarn, but it's a local dyer. And I thought it was really cute, and I just got it for myself. And I didn't even, so they put it in this bag, and I didn't even look in the bag till like just now. You saw me while Eve was talking. So I had this, and in the bottom was all these papers. So this one is a free pattern, because for local yarn shop day, a lot of companies give free patterns if you purchase from a local yarn shop. So this is a cowl. It's either, you can either make a knit cowl or a crochet cowl, and it's from Baracco. So that, I got that there, and then it has a QR code. I realized, I was like, oops. And then this is another free pattern from Tempe Yarn and Fiber. It's called the LYS Love Shawl by Jessica A's. It's just a shawl. It's real pretty. So another free pattern I can get. I was like, oh, I didn't realize that. And then also, I just saw this in the bottom. Apparently, Tempe Yarn and Fiber is hosting a cruise to Alaska, leaving from Seattle in June of 2024. And they're going to focus on Terry Neal, who owns Tempe Yarn and Fiber. It's going to be a 7-day cruise, and the workshop is modern weaving, her modern weaving course. And you get all the tools, materials, and everything. So, details coming soon. So that's fun.
That sounds like fun.
That sounds like fun. I'm not too interested in the modern weaving. I'm like, I would go if it was just knitting or a special knitting thing. But anyway, but it's still fun. Anyway, I didn't even know. And then also, look, I found free stitch markers in the bottom of the bag. I didn't know I got a free gift. So a week later, here I am. So that's fun. So anyway, I didn't get the yarn, and then part of the reason is I just kept thinking about that Medina yarn, and I'm like, oh, I should get it. And I'm like, but it's kind of a lot of money. And I looked for it online, and I found it cheaper on Amazon, but the shipping would have made it the same. So I told Mark, well, I really wanted to make this for Hannah. And he's such a sucker. He was like, okay. If it had been for me, he'd be like, don't you have enough yarn? But I was like, I really want to make her another sweater for her summer festival. And he's like, okay. So I went today, after we were cabinet shopping, I went today and got it. And Eli helped me choose this color, because we think all the colors, I think she will like this very much. It's called Suez. And it's dark greens, light greens, and yellowish greens, and greens and greens. And she looks good in green, and I think this will look beautiful with a pair of black pants. And
I like that color.
Oh, yeah? I thought you liked teal.
That parts of it is.
Parts of it are teal, yeah. But it's mostly green, greeny, green, green.
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to be my other pull for WIP-GO is a new start. So here we are. The other thing I've been working on all week, mostly, just very slowly. I'm working very slowly and giving myself grace. And so far I haven't made any major mistakes. But here's Miriam's Yara shawl. And it's coming along. It's just repeats of the mosaic pattern and the stripes up here. And I'm just about, I think, to the middle. I'm going to make, I noticed ahead in the pattern, I'm going to make another one of these sections with the crosses. And then after that, I start the decreasing to make it look like this at the other side. And then after that, I'm going to pick up along this edge and make it that way. So I'm just going real slow. I'm just being patient with myself and not feeling any pressure. So that's fun. And I think that's everything. So here's a problem with having too many projects. I went to look at my needles, and for this sweater, for Hannah's sweater, here's the pattern. Here's the picture of it. That's how long ago I made it. I didn't have Knit Companion yet. So this is the paper pattern I made it from, and it's this nice short sleeve little top. And I'll show you a picture of it in color that I made. And it calls for a size 3. I wrote here a size 3 and a size 5. Well, in my metal needles, like the one I'm making the shawl on, I have the size 3, but I don't have the size 5. And I'm sure size 5 is taken up on some other project somewhere. I don't even know. And I'm like, well, I could start it with the 3, but I don't have any cables left. So I was like, okay, I'll go and get my Knitter's Pride, the wooden ones that I always use, and they're like the 4-inch ones. My 3s are broken, and my 5s were missing, because that means they're in a project somewhere else. So I was like, okay, I'll look at my hat size needles. So I found them, but they're in my hat size needles. So they're very short little needles. So I found the 3s and 5s in my hat size needles. And actually, this calls for straight needles. I am not making anything on straight needles. Are you crazy? So anyway, this is too long. Well, it won't be too long for the back. But anyway, so I'm having to use really tiny little needles because I have too many projects. And I'm not gonna be like, I have to clear some needles off before I can. No way. I'll go buy needles before I clear things off before I start something else. Because you know me.
That's like trying to figure out which project bag your thread is in.
I know. Yeah. So then I was like, and I need a new project bag. So I went and got this that I got last summer at the, it's my old Youth Symphony, Albuquerque Youth Symphony. So I'm like, I have that bag. I'll put the new sweater will go in that bag. I am
Yeah.
so hot. Oh my gosh, sorry. I'm roasting right now. Your air just came on, thank goodness. So anyway, that's me. I'm going to start this sweater right now as you watch. And yeah, so that's everything for me.
Okay.
So Beth, time for Beth to go.
I
I'm gonna
think
put my
last
stuff
week I
away.
talked about all my May stuff, WIP-GO stuff. So I don't have my other WIP-GO project here because I haven't done anything on it yet. Because I've been doing Mania.
What's Mania?
Mania is, I think it started back in 2015. Basically doing a new start. Some people do it every day of May, so 31 new starts.
Oh my gosh.
Some people do the year, so in this case it would be 23 new starts. Other
Oh my
people,
gosh.
other people do, use various different things to see how many starts. Like some people have done a new start every Monday. So there's, however many Mondays in May, so they do that number of new starts. So you can do, variations of whatever. But it's basically doing new starts, based on something. Or what I've done in the past is I've done WIP Mania. So I do a day on each WIP, for the month of May. But this year I decided to do Mania, and I was thinking, well, maybe I'll do 23 new starts. And then I was going through stuff that patterns that I had sort of kitted up with fabric. So I had a project bag and a chart and a piece of fabric in there that would fit the chart. And I found about 12 of those, and I thought, well, I could do 2 days on each project, which would be 24 or thereabouts. So I haven't quite decided, because I came across some more fabric, and I thought, So it's an ongoing thing. So I haven't quite cemented exactly how many I'm going to do, but I'm probably going to end up doing 23. I don't know. But, so let me just anchor this so I can take it out. But anyway, so I did, my WIP, it's been lost in all this shuffle, that I've been working on is this Kind and Gentle, Woodland Sampler. Kind and Gentle Woodland Holiday Sampler. So it's a deer and and some rabbits, and they're decorating a tree basically, and then there's an alphabet in there, and I kept double checking to see if I understood it correctly. And there's a cardinal and some stripes, but the alphabet and there's some snowflakes on there and little squares that are all in this mocha color. Because I thought, is that snowflake really not white? It's but it's sort of they're all sort of a light mocha. But very pretty, very cute little
nice.
sampler. And so I've been working on it. I probably will do more than the 6 days that I put on my WIP-GO board for a goal, just because I've been doing these new starts. There were a couple of days where I technically started my 6 days on Tuesday, and but I didn't put very much time into it, like Tuesday and Wednesday or whatever. So, but I did finish the deer's head up until where his sweater starts. So, except for his eye and his nose. And then I started on this bunny underneath here. And I'm working on his little sweater right now. And I did part of the ornament that he's, I guess, asking the deer to put on the tree. There's this inner color of kind of like a burnt orange, and then it's surrounded by, I think it's Buckeye Scarlet is the color that surrounds it to make it sort of rounder looking. Anyway, so I'm working on his little striped sweater, the bunny's little striped sweater. And I think today is the 5th day, right? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Yeah, the 5th day. But like I said, I think I'm going to try to do a little bit more just so that I get, more time into it, because those first 2 days were just like an hour or something. And then from last month, one of my new starts was Karma Chameleon by Tiny Moderns. Well, this is by Artful Offerings is the creator of this pattern. This is Tiny Modernist Karma Chameleon, and I had a little bit of it done, more of it done last week, but I worked on some more of it, and I finished his little spinies, part of his little spine things, protrusions on his back, and I did one of shade of green on his tail, and his back leg. So you can see him a little bit more. And I had finished this border last week. So he's on the branch, and he's, I've got part of his tail finished and all that. So it's coming along. And he's so cute. I want to work on him more, but we'll see how that goes. So I started Mania. I'm kind of going backwards here, but so I have, these are also Tiny Modernist Mouse. I don't know if they're a part of a series or whatever, but this is Mouse's Beach Outing, and this is Mouse's Lucky Day. So they're very cute. I think I got them. I don't know where I got this one, but I got this one at the attic. But this is Mouse's Beach Outing, and all I really did, this is the middle of the thing, but all I really did was the part of the little beach house that the mouse is going to. I just did one color, and I'm hoping that this fabric is big enough. It's kind of like barely big enough, but and I thought a lot about it, because this is kind of an odd color of green, but I think the colors that are mostly blues and yellows and reds and stuff will stand out well enough on that. And then this is Mouse's Lucky Day, which really doesn't look like much, but it's again a small pattern. So this one is all kinds of green, like good luck things, like for St. Patrick's Day, basically. So this is part of the Mouse's little dress, and then what do you call it? Horseshoe, and then one of the little clover things, shamrock things, and there's the pot that these plants go in looks like a hat of leprechaun's hat. Here.
Cute.
I thought at first they were boots or something. I was like, what is that? It's a hat. And then there's a little pot of gold over here. So yeah, I just got, like I said, I just got a little start on them. And then this is Mama Cat. This is a kit, a Dimensions kit I bought at, I think at Hobby Lobby, I'm sure. But it's so cute. It's a cat wearing a little bandana, babushka, whatever you call it, and glasses. And so I just thought it was so cute. And this, again, I got just a little bit of a start on it, just the gray shading on the cat's face right under here. And this it came with this kind of pistachio green Ada, and I thought, well, it's a nice green. I don't have to dye it or anything like that, but it's very, very stiff. And, like, I guess I could have, like, run it under the water and washed some of the sizing out or something. But, I just wanted to grab it and get started. And it's so stiff, it actually gave me a paper cut on my hand. Because, I was wrestling around with it, trying to get it into the thing, and I just and I thought, wow, that felt like a paper cut. And then I looked at it later on, and I've got a scratch on my hand from that. But anyway, so that's Mama Cat is what it's called. And then I did, this is a pattern from Lindy Stitches. What is it called? Wandering Sheep. And there's this big black sheep in the middle here. And I did I think a center start on this as well. And this is fabric, this is 28 count Lugano that I dyed myself. And I did, I'm working on the outline of the sheep. And part of the reason is that although this is like around the middle of the pattern, this little top line, this is the top of the sheep's back. And when I was looking at the instructions, on this sheep, there is, on the sheep's rump back here, there are some initials. And in the instructions, she says, feel free to personalize it with your initials. But the easiest way to do it is to, like, if you do the outline or you do the rump of the sheep first, and that you can get into where the initials are more easily. So since I had already started on the back, I just went around and did the rump. So the initials go in right in here somewhere, but I'm still working on just the outline of the sheep, and I figure I can do everything but the sheep's head, and then just back and forth to fill it in. Should be easy enough. But so there's that wandering sheep, and the little saying on here is it says, "I was a wandering sheep. I was preferred to roam, but now I love my father's voice. I love his home."
That's nice.
That's really cute. So, and the one I started with was, this is by Sweetling Studio Deep Waters. And it's this verse from Isaiah 43:2, "When you pass through the waters, I will be with you." And it's got a crab, a really cute crab, and a octopus, and a whale up here, a big whale. It's really cute. And some fish. And these wavy water.
So how many starts are you doing this month?
I don't know, 12 or 13 so far. Probably 23 if I can figure it out. I want to dye some fabric, so I'm going to be doing that. So this is as far as I got. As it says, "The waters I will be," because I did a center start on this also, and this is fabric I dyed myself also.
That's pretty.
So I have I was last night I was ransacking my fabric stash, and I have some fabric that like I bought a thing from Hobby Lobby of blue even weave. It's a very light blue, and I think another one is it's like a very pale color. A very pale shade of, I don't know what, like gray or something like that. But it's also a 28 count even weave. So I might go ahead and use those. And then I have a whole bunch of white and off-white fabrics that I probably dye. And so I have a big stack of things I want to dye. And, but I have to look and see what will fit what, And I have a couple of pieces that I've dyed already. One that's kind of a pinkish color, and one that's a light green. And then I have a very large piece of even weave. It's just huge. It's similar to the one I did. I started Pandemic on. So it's a larger piece of fabric. And actually, I don't know that Hobby Lobby carries that anymore, but but anyway, another one I want to start is the Jackrabbit. This is one of the Cottage Garden Samplings Year in the Woods. And this is the one that I saw first and got me into getting this whole series. Somebody, I can't think of her name now, Cheryl, I can't think of her last name, but she lives in Virginia. And I can't think of her floss tube name either. The name of her floss tube is, I don't know, something. but anyway, she had, I think it was her that had this jackrabbit, and it's got the cutest little face. It's a little crooked smile and everything. And I thought when she held it up, I thought, oh, I need that pattern. And then it's part of this series. And so I worked on the fox and the swans, and so this is number 3 in that series, the jackrabbit. And the next one I think is the raccoon that goes. I'm doing them in pairs. So, and I realize I have 3 pieces of fabric, not counting the one that I started already. So.
How are you determining which ones go with which?
I'm just doing them in order.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. And so I have, the one thing I haven't done that I need to do more seriously is actually determine what the actual count is of that fabric. Because I'm going back and forth like, is it 28 or is it 32? Is it 28? And that would, of course, determine what fabric I want to dye to match it. Whether it's 28 count or 32 count, both of which I have. And so, I want to sit down and actually look at that fabric with a real ruler and make sure I'm getting that I have the right size fabric on it. But, yeah, so I think that's me.
Oh, wow. So what's been happening in your lives? I literally haven't seen you all week.
I have one funny little tiny story. As I've mentioned, I dropped my crochet hook and I couldn't find it. And I tried just kind of looking around or putting my fingers under the couch or whatever, and I still couldn't find it. I pushed it, here and there. So yesterday, I moved everything that was near the couch so that I could move the couch completely out of the way. And I found my crochet hook. I also found 4 stitch markers and a needle that I didn't know that I had dropped.
Like a sewing needle?
Nope.
Stitching.
It was an embroidery needle, but it was really little.
Oh.
Yeah. I was like, I didn't know I had needles this small. It just very thin with a very small eye. But my mother, one of my mother's favorite phrases was, when you clean, you find treasures. Yes. And I was like, I found a lot of dust bunnies. But I definitely found my crochet hook finally. But I found other stuff that I was like, I didn't know I dropped this.
Yeah.
So
I lose things because cats steal them off tables on a regular basis.
Okay, I keep seeing this little diamond shaped thing out of the corner of my eye, and I keep thinking, what if I got on my shirt? At first I thought it was like some kind of a badge. I was like, no, it's just a design.
Oh, well, so news on the kitchen front. We found out, we went today and picked our cabinets, finally, once and for all, picked our cabinet color and our cabinet style. And so that was exciting. And then we went round and round and round and round about, like, and our contractor's so patient with us, but about, what kind of countertop we wanted, and, So I finally settled on actual granite, because originally I had thought man-made quartz, whatever, Just, I don't know, I thought it would be less expensive. I thought it would be, I think it's really basically all the same. And then I realized too that I didn't want something that blended into the kitchen. I wanted something that gave like a statement. Because the cabinet color is kind of a blend into the rest of the house, you know. And so I thought, I want a statement. So it was fun. And then we went, and we found out our work's going to get started in July, end of July, but still, it's like exciting rather than having to wait till August. So, okay, here is where an obsession with yarn can lead you to great things. Okay, you ready? So, since I was wanting this yarn, and the shop's hours, kind of like the attic, are very limited. They're only open till 2 during the week, and I can never make it. You know, they open at 10. They're 10 to 2 is usually work days. And then they're open Saturday and Sunday. But, so, I was like, oh, I really want that yarn. So in the middle of the week I called, and I was actually going to order it. Actually, I was going to order it on their website. But that colorway wasn't on their website for some reason, so I called. And they said, well, do you want to pay over the phone and we can ship it to you, or you can just pick it up on Saturday? And I said, no, I'll just pick it up Saturday. So they saved it aside for me. So we had the appointment with the cabinet guy, and then I had to go get eggs, and we took the eggs home, and then I went to the yarn shop. And
Was it today?
today,
But you said the places that you tried were closed, and
one of them that he recommended is only open during the week because they just deal with contractors, and they open at 7. So we thought, well, I guess we could go there in the mornings. And the other one he recommended was a place called Floor and Decor, and he thought they would have granite slabs that we could look at. So we went there with our little cabinet door in hand, because he let us take the cabinet door home. And, like, no, we don't have slabs. We only have slabs of porcelain. And I was like, oh my gosh. What would someone use a porcelain slab for? I think for tiling. But anyway, so they didn't have marble slabs. So we're like, all right, well, fine. We'll go to this other place that's open during the week. We'll figure it out. So I'm like, well, let's go get the yarn. And Mark's like, okay. So we start driving down this particular road to go get yarn. And there, as we're passing by, Eli goes, hey, what about that place? It said, I think it was Avista is the name of it. Like quartz and natural stone, blah, blah, blah. And we're like, maybe they're open. Let's go see. So as I'm turning around, Mark's looking on his phone, you know, if they're, you know, and he's emailing our contractor, like, do you know these guys, kind of thing. Because we don't know. We just saw them on the side of the road. So we went in, and it was 5 minutes till 2, and he goes, he goes, oh, can I help you? And I'm like, yeah, we're here to look at some granite slabs, hopefully. And he goes, that's fine, but we close in 5 minutes. And I was like, the website said 3. So he goes, but you can go in the warehouse and take a look around, just to get an idea. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So we went back there, and we were looking, and I'm like, man, we better go. They're probably gone, or, you know, wanted to leave or whatever. And pretty soon a woman comes out, and I just think she's like a salesperson or whatever. And so she's kind of telling us how it works. Like, once you pick a color, we'll probably pick 2 or 3 for you to choose from, and then you can pick that particular slab or whatever. And I'm like, great. And so she's like, well, let me write up a visit form, you know, and get you started. I'm like, okay. And turns out they do work with our contractor all the time, and so that's good. And she started telling us, she's like, yeah, oh, because Mark said, where's it from? And the particular one we were looking at is from Turkey. So I was like, no, India. And I was like, so there's just, I just imagine, like, so they're just ships coming across with giant slabs of granite? And she's like, yeah. And so she said, actually, it was very interesting. She goes, this company is owned by me and my sister. So they're just a small family-owned company. And I thought, that's really cool. And already I'm thinking, I'm doing business with you. And so she said that her sister is the one who does all the ordering, but she just had a baby. And just this past Wednesday, so she hasn't even seen her nephew yet. But she's had a baby, and so she's learning all the ordering stuff. But anyway, so we had this little conversation, and we walked out of there, and I told Mark, I'm like, family-owned, woman-owned. I'm like, I'm kind of there. And he goes, yeah, that's cool. So, so we're probably going to go with them. And so we're going to go on their website, look at their stuff, and then go back another day and like actually pick our slab. So that's fun. And we found out, did I say this already? The cabinets are going to be done in July, end of July, instead of, oh, I said that already. I'm sorry. Repeating myself. But anyway, if we had not been going to buy yarn, we never would have found that company. So whenever you have an impulse to buy yarn, do it. Because you never know. You never know the fun things that'll happen on your way. Something funny happened on the way to yarn. But, okay, so.
Do you remember that, I think it was Dr. Seuss, What I Saw on Mulberry Street?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I remember that.
I loved that book. I loved reading it to Robert. I loved reading it to you. Because it was so funny.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, what?
I was gonna say when you were talking about ordering, it reminded me of I had to call Punch Needle Permanent Stitcher again. Well, I called. They're not open on the weekend, but I went ahead and emailed them because, and this happened last year, I think, also
Around the same time.
Yeah, because my label says last issue. Well, the one right now says last issue spring 2023, and usually when I get the magazine, when the subscription renewal comes up, they send a little paper renewal form, like, and the magazine is like wrapped in plastic, and so there's the renewal form in there, and you can either call or write or whatever. And so I had done that before, but then like last year, the issue never came. And when I called them, I must have called during the week, but they said that, several of their Arizona, they're having that trouble in Arizona with getting them to deliver it. And I think last year I had seen it at the attic, and I still hadn't gotten my copy. And like now, this year, people have been saying, oh, look, my issue came. Whatever, and
you're like, not me.
Yeah, I was like, and like I think Vonna Pfeiffer recently just did a YouTube and a floss tube, and she was, talking about she has something coming up in the summer issue, but she was holding up the spring issue, and I'm like, I don't have that, I haven't received it yet, and so I went ahead and emailed them. So I'm hoping to get some kind of a reply soon. And so I'm like, I've been going, having FOMO because everybody has it already and I don't have it. But what happened to me, I guess it was with the patterns that I bought at the Jingle Ball. One of the ones I bought, Santa's Young Buck, is a Teresa Kogut design, but it was in an issue of Punch Needle and Permanent Stitcher. And so what I want to do, and I haven't done it because it's like, I started to do it in my room, and it was kind of awkward just because like wrestling with a magazine. So I think I have to have it like on a table and, open them up and go through everything. But I want to make a list of the patterns because that magazine has so many cross-stitch patterns in it. And a lot of times designers, they have something in a magazine, and then like a year later they're allowed to release it as a pattern to sell to people who don't get the magazine regularly or whatever. And so that's apparently what Teresa Kogut did. She had released this pattern in the magazine, and then a year later she released a hard copy for people to order. And so I thought, I was like, I hope I haven't done that all, with other charts or whatever. So
bought ones that were in your book
so that I already have. So I need to go through. I want to go through my magazines, or I could probably do it on the website because I think as a subscription, holder, I have access to their patterns on the website or whatever. So I just need to sit down and do that so that I don't make $15 mistakes or whatever.
Yeah, that's important.
Oh, and I think I had mentioned on my videos about the Sting tickets that I bought.
Yeah, we talked
And
about
You
that.
talked about it here.
Yeah, and I think that the way I understand this email, that my dispute didn't go through, so I have to. So they charged me for the original
no.
purchase. So what I'm wondering is if
You could resell them.
if I can resell those tickets.
Oh,
Yeah,
maybe.
I hope so. I think so.
Maybe.
Because I
the
paid
ones
for
you
them,
bought, the
so-
ones you bought for real were our better seats, I think.
Yeah.
For you.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to see. I'm not really sure about the best way to go about that, but I'm going to go ahead and resell those tickets.
Yikes.
Yeah. So.
What was I going to say? Oh, Tales from the Symphony. Okay. So last weekend we had a pianist come in and play Schumann. His name was Llewellyn Sanchez Werner. Really, really great young man. And my colleague and I were sitting and watching the concert. And towards the end of the first movement of the concerto, did you make a mistake? Oh.
The name Llewellyn, when you said that, I thought of Nine Princes in Amber.
Oh. Oh, that's right. At the end of the first movement, my colleague goes, oh no, look at the moth. And I'm like, what? And so flying around the stage was a moth. And we were like balcony level, so you could see it. So it must have been a pretty decent sized moth. And it was kind of cruising around and I saw it right between the movements go around the pianist's head like twice. And I was like, oh no. And everything was fine. But that's what I saw from where we were. Because I didn't even notice it at first. My colleague pointed it out. And by the time I noticed it, it was flying around his head. And it was between movements. So afterward, we had this really nice reception because one of our assistant conductors is moving on, and we had a reception for him to honor him, blah, blah, blah. But Llewellyn came to the reception, which is really nice because he's friends with one of the cellists. They went to school together, and the cellist is a partner to my colleague in the box office. So that since they were all friends, my colleague introduced us to him. And so we were talking, we were standing around this table. And so one of the things I said was like, I'm so sorry about the moth. Welcome to Arizona. Here's your moth. And so he's like, so then he said that it was not only flying around his head, but while he was playing in a pretty hefty section, it was actually on his hands.
Oh my God.
And like, girl, coming all over, and I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, oh my gosh. She goes, but I what did he say? Like,
music.
I was able to focus and still get through it or whatever.
The giant.
But he was like, so he was a sub. Our original pianist that we scheduled was ill and had to cancel on us like 2 weeks out. And so I said to him, so is that a piece that you're playing like right now this season? And he goes, no. It's the first time I ever played it with orchestra. I'm like, oh my gosh, it was great. It was great, great concert.
That reminds me of.
But he,
Go ahead.
no, but I was gonna say, and then he had a moth, so that was nice.
I was gonna say, that reminds me of one time that we went to see Jamie. I want to say in Santa Fe. That he was playing. Maybe it was in Florida when we went to Sarasota. I don't know, but he was playing, and this fly kept landing on his hand. You remember?
I think I do.
And he was like kind of jerking his violin, trying to get it off his hand.
Annoying. And then, but I told him, I said, well, at least it wasn't a bat. Because one year, a while ago, I think it was before I worked there, or no, it was when I worked there the previous time. I was up in the balcony, and there was a bat.
Oh,
They were playing Haydn, and there was a bat flying around.
The Fledermaus.
Yeah, it would fly over the orchestra, and then it would fly at the balcony, like it felt like eye level, coming at us, and then it would go back, and it would get. I felt so bad for it though, because I thought it must be horrible, because its echolocation probably was not working very well with all that noise, going on on the stage.
She thought he was in a cavern.
I guess. I guess. And I'm like, poor thing, he just wants to go out and eat bugs. Let him go. But I guess every year there's bats and all different kinds of things. And apparently it wasn't just one moth. Apparently there were several moths, and they kept picking them up like dead off the floor. And that they saw, when someone saw this particular moth bugging the pianist, so like, you need to do something about that moth. And the one of the stage crew was like, there were several moths. It wasn't just one. And we were trying to get them out of there. But
well, I remember when
because
moths love music too.
Because moths always listen when you say, "Can you not go on the stage right now?"
They love music too. They have equal access.
That's kind of unreasonable to expect them to just.
Well, I know, but it's like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Run out there with a fly swatter?
So sad.
Wait a minute, let me get that. Pause.
When we were in Sarasota, and some of us went down or were playing on the beach for the fancy donor people, whatever. Mm-hmm. And so they had us in this they had a tent set up that we were playing in, and it was really, really hot down there, and they had us like in this in one of the rooms at this resort, whatever it was. It was a resort or apartments or whatever, but so they had us waiting in there, and it was nice and air conditioned. And then the minute I stepped out, I was wearing glasses, and they just like fogged up because it was so cold in the little room, and then outside it was so hot, and so I was taking my glasses off, and they were like sliding down my face anyway. Yeah. And then we were like, the little. Quartet or whatever that I was playing in, quintet, I don't know what, we were playing up there, and the girl that was playing the oboe, she was sweating so much that she said her reed got all soggy from the sweat on her lip. And then we were all sweating and everything, and then these little gnat bug things were flipping around and flying around. And I got one in my mouth while I was playing. It was really annoying. They're like on your nose and your eyes.
I saw a video on YouTube where there was a flute player, and I don't know where she was, and she was inside, but she was playing some, and she was dressed beautifully, and it was big, an actual performance, a stage and everything, and come here, Rogue, come here. She keeps barking. Yeah, come here. You don't have to bark. And so she's playing her flute, and a butterfly lands on her head. And just sits there, and she's looking up at it. She continues playing, and this butterfly is like right here, like making her cross-eyed. And it's like flapping its wings like this. She had a lot of composure though, because she didn't, she didn't flinch or anything. She just kept, it's like, well, it's so pretty flute music. What do you expect? But butterflies and
oh gosh, and
little creatures, but. Yeah, so that was my tales from the symphony this week.
I got I got a nice little letter from I recently purchased season tickets from the symphony, and I just rounded my purchase up to make a small donation to the symphony, and so I got a nice little letter.
Oh,
thank you for your donation. My
nice
whole gigantic $13.
Well.
But,
every little bit helps.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Thanks for keeping me in the job. But we're our last concert is now. Oh, it's party week at the symphony. So on Thursday, it was my idea. We were sitting around last weekend at the show, and I was like, we need to do something as a box office. I was planning to invite everyone in my house, and then my kitchen blew up, so I can't do that. But I was like, we need to do something as the box office crew for the end of the year. And but we never all work the same show. Like some of us work this show and that, so it's hard to do something after a show. Plus it's so late and you're so tired and 12-hour days and all that. So I was like, what about the Thursday before? So the Thursday before the last show, we're all going to a little place called Hanny's across the street. And we went there once when I was here prior with our old box office manager. And it was a real nice night, so I remember like, yeah, we should do that. So I emailed everybody, and I was like, I'm proposing that we have a box office dinner on Thursday. before the last concert, and everyone's like, yes. So we're gonna do that Thursday, and then we have show Friday, and then Saturday, the catering company that has been like at the convention center that's been supplying our catering all year is throwing us, the staff, a dinner in between shows on Saturday because we have a 2:00 and a 7:30. So it's like invite only, just staff and family, and we're having a dinner, and then we have having a big end of year reception after the concert. And then next Monday, all of the companies like the ballet, the opera, and us are having another like happy hour on Monday after work. And I'm like, it's like graduation week for grown-ups. So I'm kind of looking forward to it. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
No shows this week, so that's nice.
Yeah.
Because I can just go home and actually.
I was wondering if you had to.
Last week I had the show at night and I hadn't worked on the video, and I would be trying to put, like a photo in or whatever. And the way this software works, if you do something, it kind of pops you back to the beginning of that segment. And we had one really long, one longer segment. And so I was like further on in it, and I would fall asleep and like put my thumb on the thing and move the whole video, which would then pop me back to the beginning of it. It didn't lose anything, but I had to scroll back through. And when you're falling asleep watching a movie and you're like, you fall asleep at the same spot every time, and you're like, oh, back up, watch it again, you fall asleep at this. That's what was happening to me. And so that video took me 1,000 years last weekend because I was doing it after the show, after the day, after. So I'm going to go home right now and do it right now so I'm not up all night so I can feel better tomorrow.
There was, I don't remember if it was the X-Files. It might have been the X-Files or this other show I like called Vera. But one of them, I was watching it and I thought, oh yeah, okay, I'm going to watch this episode. I like this episode. And I think it must have been the X-Files because it was something, familiar. And I saw, part of the beginning of it and I dozed off, and it's like no big deal because I've seen it, 1,000 times before. But I woke up like maybe 4 or 5 episodes later or so. I was like, what happened?
Isn't Netflix supposed to say, are you still there?
I think it was on Prime, so it didn't ask me. Yeah, because I was expecting,
I'm the worst.
I was watching Vera, and I guess I've seen. There was a chunk of them in the middle that I hadn't seen, or something, and and I was watching one. I thought, okay, I want to watch this because I don't remember. I know I've seen it before, but I don't remember, who did it or whatever. Yeah. I don't remember how. But then,
well, we hope you're not falling asleep with our episodes.
Yes.
And you'll see one like from a year ago because you fell asleep and one will pop up. But we thank you so much for joining us again for another week of projects and nonsense. That's us.
Yes.
And look soon to this channel. We'll update you on our charitable project. We just have to actually get together and plan it out. And I have some more information on numbers. But anyway, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week. Have a good week. Bye.